I never believed in fear. Until that night, the night I opened my CCTV footage and saw something I still can't explain. If you are listening to my story, stay with me till the end. Because what I saw changed everything, and if you believe that sometimes truth is more frightening than imagination, please subscribe to this channel, because stories like mine deserve to be heard. I live alone for years now, after my husband passed away, and my children moved far away. This house became silent to silent at first. It was difficult. The empty rooms, the quiet nights, the feeling that no one was there, but slowly I got used to it, or maybe I just learned how to ignore it. I created a routine. Wake up early, make tea, sit by the window, watch the world move on, while my life stayed still. Days were manageable, but nights were different, because silence at night feels louder, heavier, and sometimes it feels like something is watching you. That's why my son insisted I install CCTV cameras. At least you'll feel safe, he said, so I agreed. We installed cameras outside the house, at the front door, the backyard, and one inside the living room at first. I never checked them. There was no reason, nothing ever happened. Everything was normal, until one night it was around 2 a.m. I woke up suddenly. No sound, no reason, just awake. My heart was beating slightly faster. I looked around. Everything was dark, quiet, but something felt off. I don't know how to explain it, but sometimes you feel something before you understand it. I sat up, listened carefully. Nothing, just silence, I told myself. It's nothing. But I couldn't go back to sleep, so I did something I had never done before. I picked up my phone and opened the CCTV app just to check, just to be sure that first everything looked normal. Front door, empty. Backyard, quiet. Living room, still. I almost closed it, but then something caught my eye, a small movement, so small I almost missed it. I went back, played the footage again, slowly, carefully, and then I saw it, a shadow moving inside my house. My breath stopped. I froze, because I knew something. I was alone. There was no one else in that house, no one, and yet something had moved. I stared at the screen, trying to understand, trying to explain it. Maybe it was a reflection. Maybe it was a glitch. Maybe it was nothing, but deep inside, I knew that it was something. My hands started shaking. I replayed the footage again, this time slower. And then I saw it clearly, a figure, not clear, not detailed, but they're moving from one side of the room to the other. My heart started racing. Loud, fast, uncontrollable. Because this was not possible. I was in my room, the doors were locked, the windows were closed. So how was there someone inside? I quickly checked the live camera, the living room. It was empty. Nothing, no movement, no shadow, just the same silence. I felt confused, scared, lost. Was I imagining things? Was I losing my mind? Or was something really there? I didn't sleep that night. I stayed awake. Watching the cameras. Every second, every movement. Every shadow, but nothing happened. Everything stayed normal. Morning came. Light filled the house. And suddenly, everything felt different, less scary, less real. I told myself it was just a mistake, a glitch, nothing more. But something inside me didn't believe that. The next day, I checked all the doors. Locked. All the windows. Closed. Nothing was disturbed. Nothing was missing. Everything was exactly the same, and that made it worse. Because if nothing had changed, then what did I see? That night, I tried to sleep normally, pretend everything was fine, ignore the fear, ignore the thought. But around the same time, 2 a.m., I woke up again. This time, my heart was already racing, before I even opened my eyes, as if my body knew something. I sat up, slowly, quietly, and without thinking. I picked up my phone, opened the CCTV app again, and what I saw next was something I will never forget. Because this time, it wasn't just a shadow. This time, it was standing still, right in the middle of my living room, and it was looking straight at the camera. And in that moment, I realized something terrifying. I was not alone, and whatever was inside my house knew I was watching. And what happened after that was something I was not ready for. Asterisk, I couldn't move. I just sat there, staring at the screen, my eyes fixed on that figure, standing still, not moving, not disappearing, just there. My breathing became heavy, slow, unstable, because in that moment, I wasn't thinking anymore. I was feeling, and what I felt was fear. Real fear, the kind that makes your body freeze and your mind go blank. I wanted to look away, close the app, pretend I didn't see anything, but I couldn't because something inside me needed to know, needed to understand who or what was inside my house. I slowly zoomed in, my fingers trembling. The image became slightly clearer, but not enough. The face was still not visible, just a shape, a dark presence, standing in the center of my living room. And then, it moved, not fast, not suddenly. But slowly, deliberately, as if it knew I was watching. It took a step, then another. My heart started pounding harder, because it was not random movement. It felt controlled. Intentional. And then, it stopped, right in front of the camera. Closer now, too close. I leaned forward, holding my breath, trying to see, trying to recognize anything but the screen. Glitched. For a second, just 1 second. And when it came back, the figure was gone. Gone, just like that. The room was empty again, silent, still, as if nothing had ever been there. I dropped my phone, my hands shaking uncontrollably, because now, I was sure this was not imagination. This was not a mistake. Something was happening, something real. I looked around my room, dark, quiet, but now, it didn't feel safe anymore, because if something was inside my house, then, it was not just on the screen. It was close, too close. I didn't sleep that night, not even for a second. I stayed awake, listening to every sound, every small noise. Felt louder, every shadow felt alive. Morning finally came. But this time, it didn't bring relief, because the fear didn't leave. It stayed inside me, following me. I slowly got out of bed, walked towards the living room. Each step felt heavier than the last. My heart beating fast, my mind racing. What if something was still there? What if I wasn't alone? Even now, I reached the door. Paused, took a deep breath and opened it. The room was empty, exactly as I had left it. Nothing moved, nothing changed. Everything looked normal, but I didn't feel normal, because now, I had seen something. And once you see something like that, you can't unsee it. I checked everything again. Doors, windows, locks, all secure, all untouched, which made no sense, because if someone had entered, how did they leave? Or worse, what if they never left? That thought sent a chill down my spine. I quickly stepped back, closed my room again, and locked it, because suddenly, that felt like the only safe place the entire day. I couldn't focus, I couldn't think, I couldn't even eat properly, because my mind kept going back to that screen. To that figure. To those movements. That night, I didn't want to check the CCTV, but I knew I had to, because ignoring it would not make it go away. Around the same time, 2 a.m., I opened the app again. Slowly, carefully, prepared, but not ready. Front camera, empty. Backyard, quiet. Living room. I froze, because this time, it wasn't just standing, it was doing something. It was looking around, moving its head as if searching, as if trying to find something. Or someone. My heart dropped, because suddenly, a thought came to my mind. What if it was looking for me? I watched, unable to move, unable to breathe properly. The figure walked slowly towards the hallway, towards my room. Each step felt like it was getting closer to me, even though it was just a screen. My hands became cold, my body stiff, because now, this was not just fear. This was danger. The figure stopped, right at the end of the hallway, the same hallway that led to my room. It stood there, for a few seconds, completely still, and then, It turned its head slowly directly towards the camera. And in that moment, something happened that made my blood run cold. The screen flickered again, but this time, for longer the image distorted. And for a split second, I saw something, a face. Not clearly, not fully, but enough to know. This was not a stranger, this was not random. This was something connected to me. Something from my past. My hands started shaking again, because a terrifying thought, entered my mind. What if I know this person? What if they know me? And then the screen went black, completely black. The app stopped working. I tapped it again. Nothing, no signal, no camera, no footage, just darkness. And in that moment, for the first time, I felt something worse than fear. I felt exposed, because whatever was inside my house was no longer just being watched, it was watching me, and now it knew exactly where I was, and what happened next was something I was not ready for. I sat there, staring at the black screen. My hands froze in my mind, completely blanked out, because for the first time, I didn't just feel fear, I felt something else, something deeper, something familiar. That face that I saw for just a second, it didn't feel like a stranger, it felt known. Recognizable. And that thought terrified me even more, because if it was someone I knew, then this wasn't random, this wasn't a mistake, this was something else, something personal. I tried to turn the app on again. And again, but it didn't work. No cameras. No footage, nothing. Just silence. That night, I didn't leave my room, not even once. I stayed there, sitting in the corner, holding my phone tightly, waiting for morning. Because now, darkness didn't just feel empty, it felt alive. Morning finally came, but instead of relief, I felt urgency. I had to know the truth, no matter how painful it was. I got up, slowly, walked out of my room. The house was quiet too. Quiet. I checked the living room. Again. Nothing. No sign. No trace. But this time, something caught my attention. A chair slightly moved, not the way I had left it. Small detail, but enough to confirm. I was not imagining things. Someone had been there. Someone real. My heart started beating faster again. But this time, I didn't step back, because fear had changed. It had turned into something else. Determination. I walked towards the CCTV system. The main device, tried restarting it, waited, and finally, the screens came back, one by one. The cameras turned on again. I quickly opened the last recording, scrolled back, found the moment, the hallway, the figure, and this time, I paused it, right at the moment where the face appeared. My fingers trembled, but I zoomed in, slowly, carefully, and then, I saw it clearly. And in that moment, my entire world stopped, because the face was not a stranger, it was someone I knew, someone I had trusted, someone I had loved. It was my own son. My breath stopped. My body went numb because nothing made sense. Why would he be here, at this hour, without telling me? Moving like that, watching like that, I couldn't understand. I didn't want to understand, but the truth was right in front of me. Clear. Unavoidable. I sat down slowly, trying to process everything. Trying to breathe, trying to think, and then another thought hit me. If it was him, then why was he hiding? Why didn't he call me? Why didn't he knock? Why was he moving like a stranger, inside his own house? That question hurt more than anything else, because it meant one thing. He didn't want me to know. He didn't want to be seen, and that made everything worse. That evening, I called him, not, my hands shaking, my voice weak. Babe, I said softly, when did you last come home? There was a pause, a small one, but I noticed, I haven't come in weeks, he replied. My heart sank, because I knew that was not true. I had seen him with my own eyes on that screen. Are you sure? I asked. Yes, he said. His tone normal. Calm. As if nothing was wrong, as if nothing had happened. I stayed silent, because now, this was not just fear. This was something else, something hidden, something dangerous that night. I didn't check the CCTV. Not because I wasn't curious, but because I was afraid of what I might see, or worse, what I might confirm. The next day, I decided to do something different. I didn't wait. I didn't guess. I didn't imagine. I faced it. I stayed awake. Sat in the living room. Lights off completely. Still. Waiting. Because if someone was coming, I wanted to see it with my own eyes, not through a screen. Time passed slowly, silently. 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and then I heard a sound, the door. Very soft, very careful, but clear. My heart started racing again. But this time, I didn't move. I didn't panic. I just sat there, watching, waiting, and then the door opened, slowly. Quietly, and someone stepped inside. I couldn't see clearly because it was dark, but I knew. I already knew. He walked in just like before. Careful. Silent, as if he didn't want to be noticed, and then he stopped, right in front of me. Because this time, I was not behind a screen. I was right there in the same room. I turned on the light. Suddenly. Bright. Sharp. Unavoidable. And there he was, my son, standing in front of me. Frozen. Shocked. Caught. Silence filled the room. Heavy. Painful. Real. Why? I asked. Just one word, but it carried everything. Confusion, pain. Betrayal. He didn't answer immediately, because there was no easy answer. There are things you don't understand, he said finally, his voice low. Uneasy. Double quotes. Then explain. I said. Calm, but firm. He looked down, then said something that broke me again. I was planning to sell the house. My heart dropped. Sell my house? I asked. He nodded slowly. I didn't want to stress you. I thought it would be easier this way. Easier, that word again. Always easier for them. Never for me. You were going to sell my house without telling me? I said. He didn't respond because he couldn't deny it. Tears filled my eyes. But I didn't cry because something inside me had changed. Again. Double quotes. I trusted you, I said quietly, and you chose to hide. Silence. Deep. Heavy. And then I said something that even I didn't expect. You don't need to come at night anymore. He looked up. Confused. Double quotes. Because from today, I'm not staying here. His eyes widened. What do you mean? I said calmly. I choose myself. For once, I walked past him, slowly, without anger, without shouting, just with clarity. Because sometimes, the biggest strength is walking away, not because you are weak, but because you finally understand. That night, I left. Not in fear, but in peace, because I had seen the truth, and the truth set me free. If you are listening to my story, please remember this. Sometimes, the people you trust the most hide the deepest truths, and sometimes, the only way to protect yourself is to walk away. And if my story touched your heart, please subscribe to this channel, because there are many truths still waiting to be seen.